Hey guys, how's it going? It's Merrick again. Sorry to sound like freaking Mr. Rogers, but I just kind of wanted to do another game and chat video because why the hell not? So something's got me on my mind today. Actually, past week. So I was thinking about like my friendships and everything like that, and like how kind of everything sort of comes to be. And honestly, you know, I'm all about like I've accepted myself for like a long time, and it's kind of like weird how some people sort of act. It's sort of like it's like a diatribe on like how I look at people and how I think like what I think about it. Um, so I honestly think that everybody has some form of worth in the world, and something that really kind of gets me is like the way people see each other and how we see our past and everything like that, and how we like examine ourselves and everything. Like I don't know. Like I was able to accept myself for like years. Like pretty much after high school, I was just like this is like kind of shit. You know, being a cynical asshole is kind of just like shitty. So I sort of just moved on from like everything. Because I used to hate on stuff I enjoy. I used to try to pretend like I wasn't this or that. And a lot of people, like I used to know, were kind of like that way. And because like I said, I was very like isolated in high school. I never really got to sort of share that. I had friends. I still got friends now. I still got some friends from high school. But I wouldn't say that like they're my super strongest friends on my current friend group and everything like that. And some of them had some of them were the reason why I brought up like I had a falling out with that sort of got me the courage into like doing this sort of stuff, because I'm not afraid of people anymore, and I'm not afraid of what people will think of like shit anymore. Um, you know, I just learned to accept me for me. I don't have to pretend what I like or what I don't like any longer, and or try to convince myself that I hate something when I actually love it. And you know what? It gets me thinking about like how other people sort of react. Um, it's once again, it's no secret. I'm a brony, and the brony community is somewhat strong still, I guess. I don't know how these things work really. I just know that there's like still people who follow it a lot and everything like that. You know what I mean? So I used to have like a bunch of friends who were bronies. Some of them weren't, and a lot of a couple of them now are really fucking like hostile about it. Like I don't bring it up with them or anything like that. And I don't like, and they're like the type, they're the types that will probably be like, oh yeah, you're oh you're this, like they would like still bother you about it for whatever reason. Like I don't really associate with some of them anymore, but like, and so it sort of goes, and it kind of feels like once again like they're holding on to like oh man, I was like this cringy back. It's like I honestly feel like it's sort of like cynical. It's sort of becoming like very cynical as you get older and everything like that. And I don't understand that, and I really don't like that sentiment. I think it doesn't help to be cynical about everything. It's good to have some bit of cynicism in you, but like you know, growing to be very cynical of every little fucking thing is kind of like shitty. And I know I could be like cynical sometimes, but I really do honestly try to be positive about everything. Um, oh, sometimes things just like utterly convince me. They're like, yo, yeah, this is shit, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that happens to people. It happens to people, and not every product is going to be super good, of course. So the point I'm making is that like I'm trying to figure out, like I'm not like I'm trying to be like, like why do people get violent about their pasts? Like I've learned to accept my past as like what it is. It's something that I intentionally get like I get like a face palm moment where I'm like, I could have done that way better, but it's all in the past now. I can't really do anything with it. I have to accept that. Yeah, there's we could have done like a million things better. That we could have done a million things better and everything like that, But oh shit. But it's just, you know, it's just kind of like how life is, I guess. You know, you want to see your best self and everything. But anyway, the point I'm making is that like I had a friend who used to be a brony. This is like specifically talking about. This is like the specific part is about like him and the cynicism. So he sort of just became extremely violent over it now. Like, I don't know what to think about it. Like, extremely violent over, like, you know, you bring it up, like, he gets extremely angry, and even if you try to bring it up, like, you know, very chill-like, and I don't know why. I can see, like, you know, I can see, like, I guess bullying playing a factor involved in it, and, you know, I was bothered, too, on, like, the internet. Shit, like, look, I used to lurk around on 4chan and everything like that. That's how I got around my, problems, and it's not the best way to get out your problems, and just kind of stopped being fun to do that when I started, you know, learning to accept myself and accept others as, like, you know, everything. Like, you you have to try to, like, you know, focus on, I think we have to focus on, like, you know, our own needs before everything else, in a way. Like, what will make us feel better about, you know, life and shit, versus, like, what will make, you know, what will make other people accept us in life. Which is why I don't like it, which is why I kind of wear certain things on my shoulder, like, you know, why the fuck not? Um, it's a weird sort of idea, but you know, I'm all for it. We have to find out who we are before we find everything else, you know? Like, what are we? What are our interests? What are our, like, you know, what makes us happy? What makes us sad? And all that shit, you know? Like, it's the only real way to get us to understand shit. Um, like, I'm upset when I feel alone. And unfortunately, current situations and everything like that sort of make me feel alone. And, you know, I can't help it. Like, I go out and do stuff that I go do as much as I can to keep my mind off of things, but I still can't help it, you know, sometimes feel depressed. And honestly, I think it's because, like, you know, everybody is busy with, like, their own different thing and stuff like that, which, you know, I can accept, and not everybody can do everything at once. It's an understanding that we've come, you know, it's an understanding that we all need to, like, see at some point. But, like, I know that this is a flaw I know that this is a flaw of me, that I know that, you know, sort of being alone without friends at the moment kind of is a problem. Like, you know, we all have, like, camaraderie during the streams, and that's when I'm really fucking happy. And yeah, the streams are a way to help me de-stress and all this other shit, because it's just a great way to do stuff. It's a great way to do stuff with friends, you know? And, like, it gets me to realize my friendships a lot more, like, you know, how meaningful they are. Like, I sort of see it as, like, a Mandalorian sort of way. Like, we're not just, like, you know, friends, but we're all brothers and sisters and shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, we're all part of, like, this super extended family that only we can, like, you know, focus on. And not only we can focus on, but, you know, like, that we're all, like, part of this extended family. Like, you know, we're all looking out for each other. We're all there to try to be our supports and everything like that, which, honestly, I never really could see in past friendships. It's just like, oh yeah, you know, we played the same thing together when we were kids. It's like, you know, it's not like me and, like, a few other people. It's not like me and the few friends, like, you know, the friends I have now, where, you know, we're all, like, you know, part of our support group, or just, like, you know, like, yo, like, you know, we're like, yo, bro, like, you know what I mean, all that shit. Like, how we're able to, like, you know, just be like, you know, like, fuck you, and, you know what I mean, we're joking around and shit like that. It kind of goes to show, and, like, you know, we're all from, like, different backgrounds and everything like that. It kind of goes to show, like, how good life can be, you know? But it gets me thinking, like, what, like, you know, how do we accept, you know, what do we do to accept ourselves? Like, when do we get this realization of, like, you know, I gotta stop doing this because this is making me upset. I gotta stop doing this because this is making me angry. it's like I've sort of like, you know, I'm at a point where I'm just like, you know, I can see what like made me upset, and I avoid it. I can see what makes me, when I say upset, like I avoid it, like angry and like shit like that, sad. Like, this is why I don't really pay attention to the news and everything like that, and why, like I said, we all need to find out where we belong in this world. Because if we don't find out where we belong in this world, it, you know, it only ends up being, you know, worse for us, and it makes everything, you know, everything around us upsetting. Like, I wish that one day we are all able to, you know, find our place and be able to accept, like, even the people who, like, are having trouble trying to find a place for themselves. Because, you know, I honestly do think that we all have a place in the world, what we're able to do, what we want to do, and all this other crap. And that, you know, we shouldn't hold on to our pasts or let things change us for the worse. Like, I look at my falling out, my friendships that I kind of fell out with, and I think about, like, how the hell were they this, and I kind of realize that they're all just like this. They're not, you know, they're not, in their sort of way, they're very close-minded about certain things, right? No one has an open mind. You gotta stay within the strict guideline in order to be, like, you gotta stay within this strict guideline to be our friend or something like that, right? There's no openness about it. There's no acceptance. It's all just like, I guess, we all just gotta fall in line with that. Like, we all had to fall in line with that sort of thing. And I don't like that. I don't like how we can't choose to live the life we want to live. We're stuck in a sense of, you know, being trapped. I'm probably not, like, the only person who talks about this sort of shit, but this is just, like, you know, my sort of thoughts on this, and it kind of sucks. And you know what? We really have to make life the best for us before we make it, you know, before we have to accept everyone else for our own sort of thing. It's like the only way that everybody can be really happy and shit like that, in my opinion at least. Because who really wins out in the end when we're all against each other? You know, like, everybody in control. We have to, like, you know, learn to create. We gotta learn to, like, you know, do our own thing. We got, like, you know, we gotta learn to create, learn to do our own thing, learn to support each other and be, you know, cool bros and shit. Because if we're all divided, nothing really is, you know, cool or interesting. It's just kind of like, oh, well, you know, the guys over down the road are, like, doing stuff. Okay. And, well, the guys over there, this is like, that's sort of like how it goes. But, you know, what can we do? What can we do? And what can I do? I'm only one person, and I only have, like, 21 subscribers on YouTube and almost 50 followers on Mixer. And, you know, like, this is why I always say to everybody, you know, be yourselves. Don't let others control your thoughts or how you operate. Because if you're not yourself, what are you? Like, you're just a copy of, like, someone else, you know? It, like, it doesn't help that way. It really doesn't help that way. And, like, you know, I'm not a therapist, so take my words with a grain of salt and all this. Like, you gotta learn, you know, you gotta find your place, you know. This is just my thought as a non-professional, like, a non-trained or non-professional on, like, this sort of stuff. You just have to try to find yourself any way you can, you know. Like, be it seeing a therapist, like, you know, talking out your problems, consulting your friends and family, I guess. Like, if they, you know, consulting your friends and family, like, trying to find a new lease on life, like, getting yourself you know, I guess, better friends if you're in a group that's like, no, you have to fall in line with us if you want to be friends with us and shit like that. It's just a personal pet peeve of mine, and I really don't like it. That, like, you know, we can't just be like, oh yeah, like, and I'm not talking about, like fucked up shit. I'm talking about in a sense of, like, you know, as we kind of are a sort of, like, you know, accepting people. Considering that our old caveman ancestors and shit like that like kept people alive with like injuries that could potentially be debilitating and all this other stuff. But I digress. We've come a long way from, like, something that kind of bothers me is that we've come a long way, and sometimes it really does feel like we're still in this like tribalistic state. Like, do I want stuff to get better? Yeah, of course I do. Like, I want to see us thrive. I want to see people I want to see people thrive. And nothing really has made me misanthropic over the years. I just, nothing's really made me misanthropic. Like, there's bullshit in everything, but you have to learn to accept the good with the bad a lot of the times, So, what I want to see sort of people do, like I said, is just accept people. We need more of that, like, we need more of that raw sort of like, emotion, I guess. Because for whatever reason, showing emotion is weakness in our society. When the reason why we show our emotions is to express how we feel on the inside. Like, our outward emotions is what we feel on the inside. Our smiles obviously show us that we're happy. Our tears show us we're sad and or angry, depending on how, that sort of works. Because, yeah, you can become so angry that you become sad and vice versa. But that's only a bigger piece. It's only a bigger piece of the pie. We need to understand that, everyone has differences in everything, and people need to be accepted for who and what they are, and that we kind of have to, we kind of have to help everybody find their own place. Because if we don't help everybody find their own place, what's the worth of people, really? Like, we were lucky enough to survive and become, like, the dominant species on this planet. First before whatchamacallit. What the hell are those things called? Dolphins. Because, yeah, dolphins are, like, extremely close to, like... Dolphins are extremely close to, like, human intelligence, almost. In that, like, they could potentially gain, like, some form of, intelligence as the years go on to become, I guess, a little more, should we say, like us, probably walking and talking. But that's besides the point. Is that, we've come a long way. And it kind of sucks that we're pushing ourselves back than becoming, more so entwined. Because I honestly think, because while I personally also think of, like, live in the now, right? I can't help but let my mind wander to the future. And I always think about, like, this, like, what is in the human race's future? Like, what do we have in store, Like, I don't have a thought of, like, what it could possibly be. And I honestly always look for the brightest, like, when I'm gone, and when we're all, like, when all of the people in our current sort of, like, time are gone, it's up to the future to decide whether whether, like, what's gonna be the case or not, So, that's where my sort of stance is. And hopefully, we'll be able to sort of figure this out. Now, I don't know how we'll figure it out. I don't know what the future will hold, as I said before, but I think we're all going to be alright, We're all going to be okay, and everything's going to turn out grand. And like I said, for all you guys who are struggling with friendships and stuff like that, like, always think about, like, the people you're with. And, like, if you're trapped in, like, an abusive friendship and other things like that, there's ways out, you have to, like, there's ways out. There's always people who are willing to be your friend and everything like that, Don't just settle on a group if you feel like you're being, used or just being abused by them as well. There's always more friends out there. There's always people. Never feel trapped. Alright, guys. Sorry for getting a little, you know, like deep on that, but yeah, it's a game and chat, and it's just my raw thoughts on things that kind of catch me up to the future. Like, just accept yourselves. Learn to accept yourselves. Bring about change in positive ways, and you know, don't let people get you down. Don't let people get you down. Don't be trapped in bad friendships. And just know that there's always someone there to be your friend if you want them to. That's the whole sort of thing. There's always someone. No one's ever truly alone in this world. Alright, guys, I think it's about the time I have for the video. Alright, guys, I'll catch you later. Merrick out. Tonight we're going to be doing some Fallout 3 as of this recording for the stream, and I'll see you guys then. Once again, guys, thank you guys for joining me for another game and chat. Merrick out. See you guys.